This is Julie Perry, Perry Home Solutions, Keller Williams, and I'm here with Brian Perry today, and we're going to talk about buyer representation.
Yes.
In buyer brokerage and winning in a multiple offer scenario, which is very common in today's market, and in general, just the importance of having proper buyer representation when you're purchasing a home.
Yes.
So let's start with, let's see.
Buyer representation.
Sure. So let's start with at the beginning on the consultation process. Why is it important to hire someone to represent you and go with someone that is very experienced as opposed to just someone that maybe that they have a license and you want them to help you, as opposed to hiring someone that is very experienced?
Well, I think that the consultation, which you brought up in the first part of your question, is one of the major reasons to hire a buyer agent, a buyer representative, rather than just a random real estate agent. The consultation is kind of a core component of that. When we meet with our sellers, as an example, I will drive to your house, I'll sit down with you, I'll look at the house, and we will talk for 30, sometimes even 45 minutes or more, and about the whole process, about what your needs are, and how we can help you through that. And the majority of that is not me talking about myself, it's me listening to you and understanding what it is that you're looking for and what's important to you and what your challenges are, so we can have a game plan on how to solve those problems for you. And so we don't treat our buyers any differently. Most agents do, by the way, or many agents do. Many agents treat sellers the way I explained, but with a buyer, the buyer calls and the agent says, yeah, sure, let's go ahead and meet out at 123 Main Street, no problem. My preference is, rather than wasting your time and showing you houses you don't want to buy, and maybe even other things that might not be the best thing for you, I want to sit down with you and really understand where you stand in your life, in your financial situation, and everything, so we can tailor our process to serve you and help you achieve what you're looking for.
Okay, so first to understand their needs, their situation, what they're looking to accomplish before you get to the let's look at homes.
Crucial.
Step,
and
right.
By the way, that could be the same day. Right. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's not a huge process.
Right.
But again, it's very easy for an agent to just throw you in the car and go randomly show you properties. But the difference between an agent and a fiduciary, a professional, somebody who's looking out for your best interests, well, I have to know what your best interests are first. So that's why we do the consultation, and we really want to make sure that that we're doing everything we can to represent you correctly.
So how can an agent, a real estate professional, help me as a buyer in this market, which is so competitive, help me win in a multiple offer situation?
So the particular market we're in now is actually rather strong for the seller, let's say. The inventory is relatively low in this particular environment, and the demand for buyers the demand of buyers for homes is relatively high. And so that is a situation where you need an expert at your side, because most homes, especially the desirable ones, the undesirable homes, those are pretty easy to buy because, fewer, if any, people actually want them. But the really nice homes, the really desirable ones in desirable locations with the desirable amenities, those are the ones that are very competitive. And very often, and right now, the majority have multiple offers on those properties. So the way that you strategize how you get those offers in, how you portray the offer to the seller, how you structure the offer is really, really crucial. Everything from your pre-approval letter to your deposit to the pricing to the terms in the offer and everything in between, it's actually crucially important to secure that property. So there's no doubt, if you're a buyer without representation, you are way behind the pack, and you're probably experiencing a situation where you're losing out on bids. As a matter of fact, we have acquired many buyers recently who are working with other agents that were losing out on bids. So even other professionals are having a lot of struggle here. We're doing quite well, frankly, but we have a very aggressive approach. We're very frank with our clients, and we give them a lot of good ammunition. Guidance to be able to guide them through the process.
Very good. So now we got our offer accepted. We're under contract. What's the difference between having someone that understands the contract really well, all of the, we call them contingencies, steps, deadlines, loopholes sometimes, if you will, and how can a professional, real estate professional that's experienced protect me throughout the transaction?
Well, the other stuff that we've talked about is really important. But to be frank with you, that's the most important thing. The sizzle is finding the house and locking it in and getting that contract. That's what everybody wants. And what many people fail to realize is that the real work starts after you have that contract signed. And frankly, it starts as you're putting the contract together because, as you said, understanding all of the terms in those contracts and making sure that you're protected, yet still ensuring a successful sale is a very delicate balance. And that is definitely, in my humble opinion, the real reason to hire an expert. Because it's one thing to find a property, it's one thing to move quickly, it's one thing to structure the offer and put it together. It's another thing to hold everybody's feet to the fire and to make sure that you don't have any problems and that everything goes smoothly. And that is definitely a reason to hire a professional. And we're going through some circumstances with multiple clients where things are getting a little rocky in different situations. And thankfully, we structured things where they were made whole for the most part or completely in most, if not all of those cases. So that's something we really pride ourselves on. It's not something we can talk about because it's personal information with clients. And it's also not something that people necessarily care about so much up front, but let me tell you, when you're in that situation, you care a lot, and you realize that it's maybe the most important thing in the process.
Right. So, like, for example, your escrow deposits could be in jeopardy. There could be other deadlines that you have to meet in the contract that if you don't have someone walking you through it and make sure that things are being done properly in a timely manner could jeopardize the sale.
Oh, yeah.
Just many, many examples. So if you don't have someone that is dedicated, we have a full-time team staff that tracks all deadlines for us so that we're not missing anything that could put you at default and could jeopardize the sale and you getting the home that you want. So those are some examples of how we go above and beyond to protect our buyers, to make sure that if this is the house they want, that they were doing everything in our power to, if they want to get the house, to get the house. And if there's anything that doesn't go quite according to plan, that we're protecting them and their interest that they have in the property.
No, it's a great point. And one last thing on the escrows, we represent a lot of buyers. And when we represent a buyer, we represent them through buyer agency, which means that we're a fiduciary with them. We also represent a lot of sellers too, in very much the same manner, okay? And in many cases, on behalf of our sellers, we have kept many buyers' deposits because they've defaulted on the contract. And there's many reasons that happens, but on occasion, it's due to error in assembling the contract. They didn't put it together in a way that supported their situation, and it backfired on them. And so we understand it from every perspective. And yes, we do protect our buyers extremely well, particularly with that deposit. It's an important point.
Right. Is there anything else that we didn't cover?
No, that's it. If you have any questions about any of this, we love walking people through the process. And frankly, with buyers in particular, we love to engage them very early in their process so we can help guide them and protect them as much as possible. So if you have any questions or anything, do not hesitate to reach out to us.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.